and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're talking about The Beach House. Meg, I wish that we could be at a beach house. Not this one, obviously, for obvious reasons, but wouldn't it be nice to, go on vacay or anything?
I know. I was thinking that when I was watching it, and they did a good job, right away. They, make you feel kind of oh, this beautiful beach house. They show the ocean, but then there's, the creepy music, so you know you're getting into a horror movie. But, oh, my gosh, to be on the beach right now, just quarantining up on the beach, and, a quiet beach like that. I mean, there were hardly anybody around. Wasn't it, out of season or something, so there weren't too many people? Yeah, that sounds good.
I know. I truly wouldn't even mind if it's chilly and I have to wear long sleeves or whatever, because I don't go out and tan anyway.
Yeah, I guess that being said, we're not the most beachy people. I actually bought a little tent that I set up for the one beach excursion we've done this summer, and I laid in the tent and read Clive Barker. So that's kind of how I do the beach.
No, that's perfect. One of those cabana things or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I got a little thing. You literally just set it up right there, and you can zip it up and hide in there, but it was nice. Okay,
I need one of those because I have to usually bring an umbrella or something because I burn. I just immediately burn. Okay, I also saw on Twitter this week someone posted they rented a cabin in the mountains, and it's there's a lake. And it just the view. Can you imagine being anywhere?
I know. It's wow, people. I know. I'm obviously we all miss going on trips and vacations. I have thought about doing something like that, just going and getting an Airbnb somewhere nice with a view. I think everybody's kind of thinking along those lines right now. So they're not easy to get a hold of. But yeah, it would be really nice to just get away, even though we're at home. It's just being somewhere else and drinking coffee sounds really appealing right now.
True. Okay, so we watched The Beach House. I think it's Shudder exclusive. Do you have the details about this movie?
So it came out in 2019, directed and written by Jeff Brown. And it's starring some rather unknowns. Liana Liberato, that's a name. She's Emily. And then the only person I recognized was Jake Weber from Dawn of the Dead and Medium. How about you?
Yeah, that's the only person I recognized as well. So, I mean, I think it was good. I like when I don't recognize anybody in a movie because it really draws me into their character and I have no expectations.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, right away, I wasn't even sure that she was the main character or the final girl, because they come in to the beach house and it's kind of that classic horror setup of they're gonna come have sex in this house. And so I thought, I don't know, maybe they were just the first couple that's gonna get murdered and then something else was gonna happen. So it was kind of fun to sort of watch her become the final girl and sort of find out what I called it her superpower, which was science. Which I really loved, and getting to know her. It's so much more fun sometimes than watching a movie and knowing right away from the trailers, or just because this person's famous, knowing that they're going to be the person you're going to follow.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I love the setup. Like you said, it's sort of classic horror, but you don't know where it's going to go. And this couple, these randos who, these adult people happen to be there, and then they have to stay with them. How awkward is that? But then also it's wait, something's up, or is something up? What's going on?
So you're so funny because I literally wrote down my worst nightmare having to spend the weekend with randoms. So I'm just the type of personality that if I went downstairs and there were people I didn't know and they are my boyfriend's parents' friends, I would be out of there so fast. I mean, I'd be very polite, and then I would get the F out of there. So, obviously, that doesn't make for a good movie. But there are people, though, that would kind of embrace it and be like, hey, this could be fun.
Yeah, I know. And I was thinking that, when I was younger, maybe I would have put up with it because, we couldn't afford a hotel or something. Or just, I didn't know myself well enough to be I do have the right to say, you know what, let's leave. But definitely now I'd probably be bye.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe at that age, it's well, we can't afford to go anywhere else, so we're stuck. But it kind of like turns out kind of interesting because they start having interesting conversations, and you know, maybe there's something to be learned there about like maybe meeting people and having conversations, and you can actually have a better time. And you know, when they started like drinking and taking drugs, it seemed like it was fun for a while.
Yeah, that was an interesting point, and how they, like you were saying, the interesting conversations, how they sort of broke off and had conversations with, you know, different people and different vibes and everything. It was interesting. And then when the drugs come out and how they shot all of that was good. I am not a drug user, and I haven't been, so I appreciate when I can physically sort of feel what they're feeling without taking the drugs, you know, what, like through an image or how they shoot it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like they're showing them tripping, and then obviously the horror element of, are they tripping, what's happening, things are getting a little out of hand. Even though they like shared like half of an edible or something, all of a sudden like things are getting really strange, and the woman that they're with, who has cancer or some sort of disease, she tripped a little too hard and she's throwing up, and like things start to kind of like get a little and you can feel the outward threat too. They did a really good job of like, yeah, there's some sort of like psychological stuff going on, it feels like, the dynamic of the four of them, but then you can feel that there is a threat to them that is not within the house.
Yeah, I get it, and it feels like they're isolated, yet they're supposedly in this like, you know, beach community, but it feels isolating, especially when the fog rolls in.
Yeah, I actually wrote down that it reminded me of the Lodge a bit, because even though it's like opposite, it's summer, and obviously if they had walked, and when they do walk out, it's not like they're stuck or anything like that, but it just had the Lodge feeling to me a little bit of like that eerie isolation feeling.
Yeah, I agree. When you were talking about the older lady tripping hard, when she's sick, it's kind of like in The Visit, and we wrote about this in our book, Science of Women in Horror, but it would be a little scary just on the face of it, but there's just something that's more horrific about it in this scenario. Like, it's scarier than it should be.
Yeah, you're right. It's that foreboding, threatening. I think they really did a good job with like the cinematography and the music, because it would just be creepy and disgusting anyway, but then there's just that extra element. I wrote Randall, the boyfriend, is useless.
Yeah. Because
I feel like he's like laying there and she's like trying to like make sure everybody is okay and stuff, and typical horror boyfriend.
I know. And oh my God, I don't know when this happened in the timeline. I think it's before it's before she sees how sick this woman is, but she is on the beach and she steps on that thing and it like goes into her foot. Like, I have told you this, and I've said this on the podcast before, anything dealing with feet, like foot surgery or like a foot injury, and even though I know this is not real, it got me so much, Meg.
So you're not watching that TLC show, My Feet Are Killing Me?
No, I can't. Yeah, physically I cannot.
Yeah, I don't have a particular thing about feet, but I loved how gory it was. I loved how they like, and I loved how she dealt with it. And like, what a strong ass bitch. Like, she like climbed up those stairs. She went in there. She knew like what to pour on it. She knew how to deal with it. Like, those are those horror moments where I'm like, oh, I would just lay there in the fetal position crying until somebody helped me. You know, I want to be that tough girl. But so I thought that was cool. And I also, like, before that, I wrote diarrhea, because I love that was a plot device, that he had to have diarrhea, so he like left her on the beach. I'm like, that should be in more movies. Like, that.
It's so true.
It's so true. I know it was because he like has this, I guess, spore or whatever. I don't know how you want to describe what the actual baddie is in this movie, but he has it within him and it's starting to like mess with him and give him diarrhea. But I thought that was hilarious, because I'm like, yeah, that's, who hasn't left somebody on the beach because they have diarrhea?
Or left somebody anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, when you were talking about her crawling up, after that scene, her crawling up the stairs, like, that's where that image comes from for the poster, or like the image that if you look at this movie. And it's just perfect because you don't know what's going on. You don't even know the context. But then when you see it in that context, it's like, holy shit.
Yes. And again, the movie is called The Beach House. And like that literally could be like a movie starring like, you know, or but it could be like a romance movie.
Yeah.
If it wasn't on Shudder and it had a different poster, like The Beach House could have Keanu Reeves in it or something, and it could be, oh, what's that one, The Lake House. And so I like that play on it, because it's like it could be anything. We know it's horror now, but we didn't even know, like I didn't know, slasher or what. So
It's not called The Alien Mist.
right, exactly. So I love the possibilities there. And also, so there's the trope that is in like every horror movie, and it's sitting in the chair with the back to the person. But this one was so good, and it's bright and beautiful, and it's, you know, they're not relying on that dark aesthetic. And I was so scared when the old lady was sitting in that chair and she's coming up behind her, like creepy.
I know. It did a really good job of building that anticipation and threat. And we don't even know yet. We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know who to be scared of. And then so now we kind of like get to that point where she has the conversation with Jake Weber on the beach, and something is wrong with him, you can tell. And then he goes and walks out, and it's such a beautiful shot, and he drowns himself. And then it pulls back and shows like this nastiness on the beach. It was really shocking and very well done.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When he just walks into the sea, like it was beyond. And also, like, to be in that situation and be like, what are you doing? Like, how can you do anything? I mean, what even would you do?
Yeah, I mean, she screams. She's like, "Oh my gosh, my boyfriend's having diarrhea now. What do I do?" So I thought that was really well done. And like, you know, they obviously didn't have a ton of money to make this movie, but it's like they are putting their art into such a beautiful shot and taking it seriously. And like, you feel the weight of this man killing himself and stuff. So I thought that was really well done. And then the nastiness on the beach, you know, something supernatural is happening. Her foot situation, like, it gets out of control then. And then it really, you know, I saw somebody on Twitter complaining they didn't like the back half of the movie, but I felt like it was really, I mean, the way I judge it is, if I'm not like checking my email and I'm not like distracted and I want to know what happens, then I'm happy.
No, I think maybe this is speculation. I did enjoy the back half of the movie. Maybe if you didn't, maybe it went a place where you didn't want it to go or didn't expect. I mean, I didn't expect it, but I went along for the ride. Oh my God. Remember the scene, like we're talking about the gore, but like her pulling the thing out of her foot, like gross. Yeah. And I love that. This is skipping ahead now, but the people are basically like zombies. It's kind of like a zombie movie.
It is when they start, like, when they leave the house and they start seeing the other people. Yeah, they're like stumbling around like zombies. So it felt like it felt like it had a lot of different tropes or horror genres, subgenres, like kind of mixed in. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too. And she figures it out, like you said, science, and she is figuring out how they're going to survive. Oh, when they get into that one house and like she finds the oxygen tank or whatever. But
yeah,
isn't there something icky? I mean, are the people in there? Like, there's something icky. I don't remember exactly.
You blacked it out. Yeah. No, for sure. Here was my one disappointment. So when her boyfriend finally succumbs to his illness, I really wanted this is like the 80s horror fan in me, but I really wanted something to like come flying out of his abdomen. Like, I wanted, like, you know what I'm talking about. That didn't happen, but that's okay. It was still cool. And I love her ingenuity, her final girl cleverness. Like, she finds that oxygen tank and then starts wearing it as she's leaving. And I wrote down when she was driving around, I said, what's the big deal? Driving in the fog is no worse than a Minnesota winter. Because she's like driving in that fog and then she crashes. Yeah. But I'm like, I've driven in that.
Yeah. I know, truly. Like, there are times when you don't see the side of the road or, you know, you don't see any road and you just have to kind of go with it. So yeah, We've all been there.
I mean, in her defense, I'm not doing it one-handed, holding an oxygen tank on my face, but
Or with a bum foot.
Yeah, that's true. She still has a foot deal. So, but I thought it was a really fun, like, sci-fi horror movie, and I thought they did well with, like, a small cast. They made it scary. I was really surprised at how good it was. You never know, like, with one of these, like, random movies, like, it's a roll of the die.
Yeah, that's true. Let's rate this movie, rank it, and then we're going to talk about some more things, horror that we've watched or read lately. But first, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being you hated it, 10 being it's a perfect movie, our scale...
I think the, like, worm thing she got out of her foot.
Yeah, that's what it is. How many worm things do you give The Beach House?
I'll give it an 8. I really like the final girl. I thought she was really surprising. I loved how she loved science and was very clever that way. I thought the acting was pretty decent, and it surprised me and kept my interest.
Yes, I'm also giving it an 8, and I was reminded about, like, their conversations and how she's doing something with her life, and I just felt like she really had it together.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't set up like, oh, this couple loves each other and they have no issues. Like, there was the issue of, like, him kind of being like, you don't need to, like, keep going to college, like, you know. So I like how they set up kind of strife between the two of them and gave them more layers than just like, let's go have sex in this beach house.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, check it out on Shudder if you haven't, and let us know what you think. So I've talked about this on a previous episode, but Meg, I watched all 3 seasons of Penny Dreadful, and then I did watch the new series that just ended in June, based in LA, and I have things to say about both of these.
Okay, so I watched Penny Dreadful, like, when it came out, and I watched the first season. I want to say I think I watched part of the second season. I don't know why I fell off, but it's, like, very vague in my memory, so you're going to have to, like, remind me of why I need to rewatch this.
It is an amalgamation of classic, Gothic, Victorian novels, and, like, on my first watch, I'm rewatching it now. On my first watch, I'm like, is Sherlock Holmes going to show up? And then on my rewatch, I'm like, oh my God, she is Sherlock Holmes in a type, not actually. And that's the whole thing about this show is it's not, sometimes it is very on the nose, but other times it just alludes to things. And Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, werewolves, Dorian Gray, Sherlock Holmes, all of these things and people and this time era. Oh, there's like a little bit of Phantom of the Opera. Like, there's so many elements, and I just kept saying, like, why didn't I watch this before? I don't even know.
I have a question. Does the third season, like, end in a way that feels okay? No?
That's why I had to put out there, and I said this, it'll maybe be last week's episode or whenever it comes out, that I don't know how to feel. And what do we do as fans when we don't like the way a series ends? Like, we just have to deal with it, right? I mean, I realize that there's fanfic for that reason, but I mean, I can't be mad about it. That's what the creator did. But at the same time, my heart hurts.
Oh, I know that's what sucks about, like, loving art and loving all of it in all forms, because you don't have, unless you're actually the one creating it, you don't have control, and you have to, like, give your heart up.
And so that being said, I wanted to say, and I'm not going to totally spoil it, maybe it is the ending. It is probably the ending it deserves, but maybe it's not the ending I want, you know?
So here's my question. Is it more forced by the sense of they thought there was going to be more seasons, or that's not the issue?
I feel like they're setting it up for more seasons, but then it ends too quickly because Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde just get introduced in the third season, and that doesn't go to fruition. I don't know. I mean, if you talk to the creator, though, I read some articles post watching it, and it seemed like, nope, this is how it ends, and now we're going to move on to LA.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it got canceled, and, like, that was what was in my mind, and I think that was partly the reason I didn't want to, because I think I do that thing where I'm like, if it gets canceled, and I haven't started watching it or I haven't watched it in a while, I kind of like don't want to invest into it, So
it's kind of like Swamp Thing, which now got picked up though by somebody, so I guess we can go back and watch that.
I actually thought that. I was like, okay, maybe I will watch that now. So, but you told me you don't like what is it, City of Angels?
So yes, so this fans, I know I put it out there on Twitter and I said, what should I watch next? And someone said, watch City of Angels. Well, I did, and it's a different tone. It's a different show. I mean, I realize it's the same creator and showrunner, but it's just not the same. I wanted to see Frankenstein's monster in Hollywood in the 30s, but that's just me.
No, I don't think you're alone. So you said that there are same actors but playing different roles or something?
Just the one actor of the Frankenstein's monster. Because I saw that he was in it. I'm like, okay, done. Like this, I'm going to love this so much. And it's just, it's about like Nazism and evangelicals. And, I feel like it's too current. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It feels too like on the nose of life right now.
Yeah.
We want to escape. Okay, well, you've convinced me. I'm going to go back and watch Penny Dreadful, but I'm going to pad my heart because I don't want it to be broken at the end.
And yeah, guard your heart, but just know like up until like the last moments, I mean, it still is good, but it just hurts because I want certain people to be together, or I want certain people to die, or I want certain people to live, and that's not life.
No, I mean, that's true. I guess Penny Dreadful can't, like, end with everybody holding hands, I guess.
So that's not a spoiler, but, just guard your heart. Meg, have you watched anything amazing lately?
Well, my boys have got me rewatching Twilight Zone, and it's been really fun to watch with them. We've been watching, like, new episodes, like, about once a day we'll watch one, and it's becoming like part of our routine, and it's fun to watch it through their eyes. But so also though, I'm now rewatching episodes, you see little Easter eggs more. Like in the second season I saw a lot more like sort of little what do you call it, like glances to the old series. And there was one thing that Fox pointed out that I thought was really interesting. In the second episode of season 2, it's the Marina Baccarin one. When she's walking down the stairs, she has a painting, and this is when she's talking to her husband, and he's sort of switched into that weird accent. And right above her head is a Sims plumb bob. Yeah, he saw it right away. He's like, that's like a Sims thing over her head.
Whoa.
So, like, she's like one of the Sims. And it was so cool. We, like, paused it and looked at it. It was very neat. And the fact that he caught on to that right away. And then another thing that's been fun is episode 9, the one that we love so much, the Topher Grace one. Right away, Fox, like, that guy's creepy. He shouldn't be following her around. And it was so funny because in that moment, I was in love with him. But my 13-year-old knew that he was coming on too strong. And I was like, that's good. So you just come with those little things and you watch things and get new perspective. And so it's been really fun to sort of see things through their eyes.
No, that is such a good point. And I've only watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes with Campbell of season 2. And we're jumping around. We're not watching them in order. And he, too, will notice things that I didn't notice the first time. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is why I like to rewatch things or watch with other people sometimes. And Campbell will notice things, even this is not horror related, but we are always watching The Office. And I'll notice him. And he's like, well, yeah, I saw that the first time or whatever.
Yeah, they sort of watch things. I think maybe that's why, like, when we look back on our childhood, like, the whole point of Horror Rewind, to start looking at older horror movies is, like, they get into our brain a lot faster and easier, and we do kind of connect to those little things faster. I think as a grown-ups, we're, like, maybe missing some of the nuance sometimes,
Yeah. Wow. This is getting deep. But it's true. What else have you watched or read lately? Anything?
Well, in my Meg's Book Corner, I'm keeping people apprised of what I've been reading. I went back to, now I'm reading the second part of Books of Blood, the second edition or whatever you want to call it. like, you have to read this book. It's so good. I'm going to lend it to you after.
I'm excited, and I heard on your book corner too that your dad's been stealing your books, so that's good.
After he kind of maligned Clive Barker to me, he was like, well, he's a really good writer, but I don't like his characters and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then I noticed Clive Barker books missing. So
there you go. If Mike Nardine says he's good, then yes. And yeah, I have been, obviously I'm rewatching Penny Dreadful. You know I've got nothing but time on my hands. Well, I mean, don't we all? But my summer class is over that I was teaching now, and I've got a little bit of time, so I've been watching some stuff. You know what has been really enjoyable? I watched the Zac Efron show, and it's so lovely. And I watched Padma Lakshmi's Taste the Nation show. So good. Both of them, in their own way, are just brilliant.
Well, when I know this makes me like an 80-year-old lady, but I like to do puzzles, and I like to do, I've been cross-stitching. And when I do that, I like to have the 90 Day Fiancé shows on. I love those. That's like my just a nice little thing. And you don't have to like watch every second of it. It's like kind of like those shows, and you can just kind of feel relaxed. I mean, while their lives are crumbling. But I definitely want to check out the Zac Efron show because I love travel so much.
Yes. Now, somebody, there's like a headline about like Zac Efron's new dad bod. And one of my friends on Facebook is like, if this is dad bod, if your dad has Zac Efron's body, like, give me your dad's number.
Yeah, no kidding. If that's a dad bod, like, I'm confused.
Yeah. I mean, like, whatever. He's actually healthy and eating carbs again, and people are saying it's a dad bod. Like, get over it.
I saw the tweet of him crying over pasta because because these celebrities and these models and even just people who have had like difficult relationships with food, like, they cut things out of their lives and then they realize like how much joy a plate of pasta can bring you, especially in these sort of times.
What he discovered in that city, and this is not a spoiler because I'm giving you good advice right here, people. They live to be over 100. They have the longest life expectancy on Earth. This is an island off of Italy, or part of Italy. They kept asking people what their secret is. Every day they eat pasta. They don't eat a lot of protein or meat. They eat mainly pasta. They drink wine, and they take walks. Like, isn't that a recipe for a good life?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds nice to me. I mean, yeah, I do want to know the secret. And if it's eating pasta, then I'm well on my way.
We're going to live forever.
I do want to just quickly be that person and just remind people that we have all these books out. We have The Science of Monsters. We have The Science of Women in Horror. Coming very soon in October, we have The Science of Stephen King, which we're excited about. We were hoping to go on a book tour. I don't think that's going to be happening, but we are going to plan some like either virtual events or maybe some socially distant outdoor events because we really want to just like hang out with horror fans again. And also, my books right now, all my fiction books, are 99 cents on Kindle, and that is going to be done this summer. So get those books. They're 99 cents, and my third novel in my Willoughby series is coming out in October as well. So you can read the first two for literally $1.
That's amazing. And also, you've got... when are your new covers coming out, or are they out already?
Yeah, my new covers for Twisted Reveries and Twisted Reveries 2 are out, and I can announce here that Twisted Reveries 3 is coming out next year. So.
Meg, you didn't even tell me that, so you're a bitch.
I'm announcing it here right now, and it's going to be antique tales of horror. So
you bitch, I love it. That's why you need to watch Penny Dreadful. Get in the mood.
I know, I was thinking that. So anyway, so get the new covers. They're gorgeous, and then get those for 99 cents as well, and then you'll be ready for next October when my third short story collection comes out. So I'm really excited, and we're also working on another new book.
So this is just like all of the announcements. Yeah. Okay, we're announcing our fourth book right now, today, to you, next October, when Twisted Reveries 3 comes out. Also, our fourth book, The Science of Serial Killers.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was literally going to do that. That's why we are on the same brain.
You know, a friend of mine said, she's like, I listened to your podcast. She's like, how do you and Kelly know? She's like, you guys just like know when to talk and when to like bounce back to each other. And I said, I guess because we've known each other for 20 years. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, but isn't that just conversation?
I said we also share a microphone, so I said that could be a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, that helps, definitely, because Meg's not going to talk unless I've got it shoved in her face. That's what she said.
A good one.
I'm watching too much Office.
No, you can never watch too much Office. Like, talk about comfort food. Like, we have to have it on because otherwise, and I've been listening to the Office podcast, too, so.
Oh, I know. I love it. Okay, listen, friends, we plugged a lot of stuff, but get out there and read and watch stuff and tell us what you're reading and watching too.
And create your own content, you know? Just like write poems or not. Because you know what? Basically, if you can live and exist in this time period right now, no one's asking you to create anything. Just survive every day.
Yeah. It's enough. You don't have to learn a foreign language and, you know, do anything. Just do you.
You don't have to have a sourdough starter. You know?
There you go. Until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.